Thank you for bringing the crowd.
How did you find a way to run from the city of the sun? You could have stayed, it's only over when the day is done. I never knew you was a runner, yeah. I mistook you for a son. It don't matter what we think when it's all over. 'Cause this is our last chance to leave it all behind. Raise your voice and raise your power, yeah. This is our last chance to leave it all behind. Raise your voice, raise your power, yeah.
Archie, is it fun?
Fun.
Fun.
After me. Ready? Happy?
Happy.
New?
New?
New.
Boom.
Was wrong to say I wouldn't change a thing, 'cause in the story of our lives, the best of times through color glass, time rolls on enough to let me move on past, but every little now and then it creeps on back to shape my smile.
Today is September 23rd, 2024. It is 3:17 a.m. This is video number 2. Video number 1 is on our Port of Pew service, where I spoke about Harry meeting with World Health Organization and Belgium, Queen and a whole bunch of other people. Queen Matilda of Belgium. They were there to advocate for children against violence and mental health and all of that. So go on our Port of Pew service and check it out. On this video, I'm gonna focus on Netflix. I came across it and I'm a little bit late with that, but by now you guys should already know about it because I posted on my community board. So let's get to it. Okay, this is the background. 3,981 subscribers. New subscribers welcome. Analytics. Okay, 459 views in the last 48 hours. I'm not even gonna fuss about it anymore. Let's focus on the work. Okay, so let's go on Twitter. First tweet. Unfortunately, the first tweet that I'm gonna share with you, this is something the squad were talking about it, and then after that I think 2 or 3 tweets that make reference to the Left Behind Royals, and then after that I'm gonna focus on the Netflix. Okay, and then from this point on, come this week, we're gonna focus we're gonna have a mute challenge. We will not be talking about the Left Behinders because they're gonna try to overshadow Harry's work while he's in New York to represent to, I believe he's gonna be at Clinton Global Summit. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now we're focusing on Netflix CEO. I'm gonna read the article. There's a possibility the first part I might just remove it, put it on PYTE Sussex, so I don't mess it up with Harry and Meghan things. Okay. Ted Sarandos, Netflix CEO, on Meghan Markle. Quote, I've been out with a lot of famous people before. The way that people react to Meghan is otherworldly. One of the things I was reading, it could be under here, but I think I blocked the person, making reference to the Spotify one. I wanted to respond to it. I was like, you know what, let me just leave that alone, because the Spotify one, I believe there was some disagreement that Meghan probably said no to them, and then he got upset, and then he went on his rage talking negatively about Meghan. All right, because I think Meghan podcast is on, what is it, Lemonade or something. All right, source is this. I'm gonna read that, and I have it open. Netflix Ted Sarandos, we make TV for the people, not the critics. Boss of the streaming giant says prices will keep on rising while it tries to cater to all tastes, and he has no regret about the controversial hit baby reindeer. So I didn't see that, so I don't know. So this was written, where is that? Saturday, September 14. That was a while ago. Wilterville, is that the same thing? That's him a while ago. Why is it popping up now? Okay, so let's read. You can't always get what you want, even if you Ted Sarandos, the square-eyed Netflix boss who dropped out of college to work in an Arizona video store and today find himself with the entertainment world at his feet. He's just told me his favorite non-Netflix show is The Bear, a kitchen-based comedy drama available on streaming via Disney Plus in the UK. When I asked how it feels to miss out on shows like this, Sarandos heaves a heavy sigh. Quote, I know we can do everything, can't take on every show, he says, sounding as though he doesn't quite believe himself, but I think that's one I like too. He breaks off momentarily, presumably to fantasize about the Netflix Bear reunion. It holds TV to a higher bar, which I like. Sarandos is one of the king of Hollywood as co-chief executive of Netflix, a position he shared with the lower-key Craig Peters, who leads on tech and finance. He has been paid more than $100 million, £75 million, over the past 2 years, and the past decade or so, he has shaped television. Right? He is also frighteningly well connected, cooling name dropping like the Kevin Costner, a very good friend of mine, and Meghan Markle. I've been out with a lot of famous people before. The way that people react to Meghan is otherworldly. Ari Emanuel, the Hollywood super agent and chief executive of entertainment giant Endeavor, says, quote, whether it is executive in the industry or the talent, he has great relationship at every level. Incredibly, actually, why? He's outgoing. He's constantly curious about what's going on out there. Jay Hogue, okay, a venture capitalist who has served on Netflix board since 1999, says Sarandos' secret sauce is that he is one of a few people in that world who is just eminently likable and respected, as opposed to hated or liked but not respected. You probably could find somebody that says a negative thing about Ted, but it'll be really, really hard. I meet Sarandos, 60, in Netflix embassy-style office in Rome, which has a creamstone facade and is guarded by an imposing black gate on a busy street near the city center. Sarandos is here to attend the premiere of Netflix drama Emily in Paris, Series 4, Part 2, much of which is set in Rome. He greets me with a warm, well-used handshake followed by a vernacular double pat on the upper arm. He has flown over for a couple of days from Los Angeles, but shows no sign of jet lag. I can adjust to time zone pretty easily, he says. Netflix is, commercially speaking, at the top of its game. Subscriber numbers 278 million, revenues $34 billion last year, and profit $5.4 billion. Oh my God, have never been higher, and its share are near their peak, giving it a market value of $300 billion. Netflix is even starting to pay down the debt it has amassed over the years, which stand at about $12 billion So that's why they were cutting some shows and things like that. Down 13% in the past year. By most accounts, it has won the global streaming war, having beaten off pandemic-era competition from the likes of Disney Plus and Apple TV Plus, but that's not how Sarandos see things. In the UK, he says, while Netflix is the biggest streamer, the BBC's iPlayer is the fastest growing. Netflix commands only about 10% of the total screen time in this country, so we still have a lot of work to do. Is that the goal then? To maintain Netflix's position as bigger than iPlayer and its home market? No, he says evenly, our aim is to thrill audiences, and that's the outcome. Clearly, this is not the UK specific ambition. No longer an upstart, Netflix needs to find a way to keep growing its business. Last year, it boosted subscribers numbers by banning password sharing and launching a cheaper ad-supported service. Oh, so this is how they got those people who were sharing their password. So now they can't share it no more, so they're gonna have to create their own. So that's a smart thing. Oh, I thought that was done. Okay, Netflix launched in the UK in 2012 at £5.99 a month. Today, a standard subscription costs what? It doubled. Wow. £10.99, and Sarandos confirmed that more price rises will come in the future. We have a long history of this, which is that as we add more and more value to customers, so the more people are watching and enjoying Netflix, every once in a while we'll come back and ask for a little bit more money to plow into that and make a continuous virtuous cycle of improvement. Sarandos insists that the company won't seek to boost profit by cutting budget. We have to win the market share by entertaining the world, and when we make programs that people love, they sign up and they stay around. That's true, because my husband wanted to cut Netflix, and I was like, no, because of Meghan shows, all the streaming thing that Harry and Meghan are doing, they're with Netflix. That's the only reason we still have Netflix, because as far as I'm concerned, my husband watch every movie that's there already. The programming strategy that Sarandos said has served his company well is local. In the past, he explained, an explosion of Hollywood export left national audiences underserved. Netflix, he reckoned, has done a good job of providing an antidote to this. In the UK, with shows such as Baby Reindeer, Bridgerton, and The Gentleman, counterintuitively, he suggests that one advantage of this approach has been that every now and then local programs take off and become a global hit, a la Squid Game and Baby Reindeer. The stories that travel the best are the stories that most authentically true and local, says Sarandos. People can smell it if you try to manufacture something to be global. And when it does work, nobody, including me, including us, predicted it. Sarandos grew up in the Mathers household in Phoenix, Arizona. His father, an electrician, and his mother, a full-time parent to her 5 children. His ambition had been to become a journalist once he had finished school, but then I had this kind of epiphany in junior college that I was not a very good writer, so I was probably not going to be a professional journalist. I didn't really have a plan B. I was working part-time at a video store and dropped out of school and went full-time at the store. From there, he rose to the rank in video rentals to become vice president of product merchandising at West Coast Video, which had nearly 500 stores. Reed Hastings, who co-founded Netflix as a DVD rental service in 1997. Oh, that's how it started. I didn't know that. Recruit Sarandos as his vice president of product. I mostly bought DVDs is what I did. He later moved to become chief content officer. This role took on new significance when Netflix, anticipating improving home internet connection, pioneered TV streaming in 2007. Early in its year, subscribers to Netflix had been offered a second-hand TV show and films. HBO. HBO have been... It's almost like a streaming thing, but not really. Because when it started, people had to pay to watch HBO. So I'm wondering how HBO is doing in comparison to Netflix. Because HBO has been there for a very long time. Sarandos was the guy who bet big on establishing it as a home for original content, starting with a $100 million splurge on Kevin Spacey's House of Cards. In 2013, The Crown, Stranger Things, and Sex Education followed. It's funny, I watched these two. Stranger Things, I think I've watched the first 2 seasons, and then I stopped. Sex Education, I saw it. How did I see it? I stumbled upon it, and then I ended up watching the entire thing. Okay, Sarandos, did they have new ones? I left when they were moving. They grew up. Some were going to education, different part of the world, and that's where I stopped. I don't know if they have more. Sarandos also came up with the idea, then alien, now commonplace, of releasing entire series in one go. You could argue, therefore, that he is the root cause of the 21st century's binge-watching epidemic. Years ago, Reed made a comment that haunting us a little, which is that we compete with sleep. Which I don't think is true, says Sarandos, leaping to his company's defense. When I question its societal impact, I think we compete for other screen time. The Netflix boss, who described his work schedule as 24/7, is married to Nicole Avent, a Democrat campaigner and former U.S. ambassador to the Bahamas. He has 2 adult children from his first marriage, both of whom work in the television sector, not directly with Netflix. I asked him how hard he's found it to balance work with family. I said it's one of the lies that people are sold, which is that there's such a thing as work-life balance. He says you are trading off constantly all the time. So this mission to find the perfect work-life balance, I think it's a fool errand. This week, Sarandos will be jetting back to Europe for the Royal Television Society's annual conference in London. There, he will seek to re-emphasize Netflix's commitment to the UK, which means more commissions for producers and more competition for domestic rivals. Supporters of the UK's public service broadcasters worry aloud that US streamers such as Netflix will continue to eat into their market, but have no interest in funding some of the less glamorous programming that they make to inform and serve the public. Very interesting. Sarandos confirmed that Netflix has no immediate plans to move into the news business, although it is in the never say never category. But he rankles at the suggestion that Netflix will not have commissioned Mr. Bates versus the Post Office, the ITV drama that highlighted the plight of sub-postmaster caught up in the Horizon computing scandal. With the, I think, like you said, he's not gonna say never, but the way that mainstream media have captured the news business, it's unbelievable. And when you look at in the Middle East, they're killing reporters left and right. Not reporters, how do they call this? Journalists. Still the same thing, but journalists left and right. And not too long ago, could be last week, Al Jazeera, where their home base was raided by the Israel troops doing something live, and then the Israel troops walk in there and make people leave. So these people have some issues with getting the news. So this is very dangerous right now. If things take a different terms in terms of policies and each country's respect the rule of law for the truth to come out, maybe, but right now it's very dangerous. Otherwise, they're gonna have to jump on the bandwagon of creating news instead of reporting the news. So for now, stay out of it. He hasn't seen the show. It isn't available in the US, but says, quote, I know the story well. We definitely will have made that show. That is a story about unfairness and underdogs, and I mean, that's a total global story. Alright, so there's more. Okay, so I leave the, might as well finish it. It's almost done. One British program that Netflix has already taken global is Baby Reindeer, an account by comedian Richard Gadd of his experience with a stalker. The show pulls a surprise hit, but has also caused problems for Netflix. Online sleuths were easily able to identify Gadd's alleged stalker, and she is now suing the company for defamation. Oh, I don't know anything about that. I asked Sarandos if he has any regret. I'll just tell you that we're proud of the show and the way Richard handled the story, he says flatly. Netflix and the show's creator have also been criticized for labeling it's a true story, and the show Gad's stalker was imprisoned. In real life, the alleged stalker says she has received no conviction. Very interesting. I don't know anything about that. I asked Sarandos if Netflix will be more careful with the true story labeling in the future. It was no one's intent to use a label recklessly. He says, a little moodily, that it's Richard's true story. The fact that you're watching on television says that part of it was certainly fictionalized and dramatized, he added. I'm surprised that it's continuing debate. I like the way that he said here. Where is it? I asked Sarandos if Netflix will be more careful with true story labeling in the future. Okay, and this is his response. It was no one's intent to use a label recklessly. That is Richard's true story. This is when I'm saying different perspective when journalist is reporting on, a story. Depend on the perspective of the journalist, they will say things differently based on their position of reporting the story, but the core issues will remain the same. So here, when he said, is Richard's true story, I understand that. We may not like the way it comes out, or it could someone else who's probably was in the story have a different perspective of it, but it's Richard's true story. So I agree with that in a way. I do not know what the story is about, but I sort of understand what he meant by this. Alright, while business is booming at Netflix, the streamer has arguably lost some of the upmarket credibility it once commanded. Before my meeting with Sarandos, I had pulled up a ranking of its top 10 shows in the UK that day. Top of the list, Worst Ex Ever, also featured Love is Blind and the documentary called American Murder. When I suggest that some might view this list as a bit, well, trashy, Sarandos roared with laughter. You mean that a complimentary way? He asked good-humoredly. Taking hold of my phone to examine the ranking, he pointed out that in 5th position is Chaos, the best telling of Greek mythology and television history. He adds that the list provides a great illustration of Netflix's diverse roster, which has to appeal to 500 million different tastes. Very interesting. Wow, I like his response. Plus, he adds, even individual subscribers enjoy a mix. I love Ripley and I love Love is Blind. It just depends what I'm in the mood for, says Sarandos. Not everyone will love everything, but we're about pleasing audiences, not critics or people in the industry. That's a very good way of responding. That is true. The link will be in the description for you guys to read it. Okay, with my crazy accent. Very interesting. Alright, now I'm back to this. Back to Twitter now. They try as hard as possible to get a rise out of him, but he brushed it aside or laughed at them. The British media is so bitter. Oh, it was the British people who was interviewing him. Wow, so sweet. Is that a compliment or this? Okay, Sarandos insists, quote, we have to win the market share by entertaining the world, and when we make programs that people love, they sign up and stay around. This is where I bring my opinion in there, my experience, because my husband wants to stop, and I'm like, nope, there's other things Harry and Meghan gonna have, so I want to be able to watch those things, especially since sometimes I report about them. Okay, not everyone will love everything, but we're about pleasing audiences, not critics or people in the industry. Alright, so I just read the thing, so there's no reason for me to click this. There's a way you will keep going after someone. The universe will warn you a few times before it unleashes a real evil on you. They will all learn soon. They will learn to leave her alone when the universe comes down heavy on everyone involved. Okay, so she's making reference to the original caption. But I thought Royal Bat, who never met her, said some. Alright, she is blessed and highly favored. I can't wait for Polo with Prince Harry and Nacho Figueres on Netflix. I will faint. The British filthy rags think differently, that's for sure. Alright, so let's go to the next tweet. And I think it's making reference to that as well. I might cut this video into two. The first part will be on the leftover behind. Alright, so I'm not gonna read that again. It's making reference to it. Ted Sarandos, Netflix CEO, did interview and had this to say on Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. Quote, I've been out with a lot of famous people before. The way that people react to Meghan is otherworldly. Also, Netflix produced for the people, not the critics. Exactly. Once you have your mind straight, you know who your audiences are, you'll be fine. Okay, not surprised by his comment because it is so obvious that way billions of people around the 5 continents react to Duchess Meghan. Okay, he knows what's up. Instead of listening to the idiots who look at where they are now. And look at where Harry is. Harry's work is worth $3 trillion.
Travellers will be in New York for Climate Week, celebrating our 5th anniversary. Since we launched in 2019, we have brought together 11 of the world's biggest and often competing travel and technology brands to work together on bringing sustainable tourism to the mainstream. Today, we are a $3 trillion coalition.
Okay, travelers. And the others, look what they're doing. Instead of working hard and trying to, make their own money and stuff like that, but they rather spend the majority of their time putting Harry and Meghan down. If you saw the first 2 tweets, I'm gonna move it to Team Sussex because they're the Avengers. They're moving over here, not moving, but planning on create things in the US. Why? William told his buddies to tell Meghan to go back to America, and she did.
If you want to be private, go back to America and live privately. It's pretty straightforward.
And then the husband follow along. And then they had their people, was that organization in the US? Okay, trying to get Harry's personal information to send him back. I mean, these people are freaking confused. We need to pray for November. People think and vote right. Next tweet. They have no evidence. Meghan's friend said they have emails to prove it. I think they only said that to sully her good name because they knew racist and jealousy people will believe them. Meghan said she didn't sign any NDAs and Harry said he has. He has what? He has 400 pages? Okay, so she retweeted that and there's this video. Oh, she continued here. Harry said he has enough material for another 400-page book. In my opinion, they better not push them too far. Okay, at Miss Erica Gaza. Okay, they were afraid Harry's attorney will release the 21-page response that will submit to the firm. Okay, I don't know anything about that. So let's listen to this and then go to this retweet. It's 1 minute and 27. Let's listen.
And they did look free and happy. There was no question about that. And I think
I'm glad you felt that.
Well, everybody wants to see happiness. We have campaigns here, Be Kind campaigns. But of course, we want everybody to be happy. If that is even.
That's just a front, okay? Because the way that people in the UK seem to lash out on Harry and Meghan, the UK media that is. And thank God now, okay? I have to say, and prop to the Brits, the little people. Thank you for speaking out. Because at one point, I thought it was all of you who felt that way. The way the tabloid were running their mouth. But now, many, many Brits are speaking out. They're not taking that BS. And good on you guys.
And remotely possible. And then there are all these dark, occasionally a dark shadow comes up. You think, oh God, here we go again. Here's something else that has to be addressed. And now we've got the bullying investigation going on. What do you say to the accusations about her bullying people?
Well, I have known her for 17 years, and I have seen the way that she regards the people around her and the people she works with, and I can say she's not a bully. But I can also say that I am personally glad that people are doing their due diligence, because I also know why someone had to leave, and it was for gross misconduct. And the truth will come out. There's plenty of emails and texts. Plenty of emails and texts about that.
That's obviously a big thing to say when you say you're speaking for yourself. So you must be speaking for her on that particular story.
No, I'm speaking for myself.
Okay.
I know, I'm not going to get into the details of it. I don't feel like that's my place. But also, I'm just happy that it's actually getting looked into because the truth really does set you free.
Okay, knowing what we know now, for instance, during that time, I believe that was either before or a little after the Oprah interview that this came out. And knowing what we know now, where Meghan sued the paper for printing her letter to her father on the on the newspaper, things that came out during the lawsuit, the 5 a.m. email or 6 a.m. email. Okay, Meghan speak very nicely to Jason Kenoff, and then if they thought that was bullying, okay, so we know the end result of that. All right, so let's read some of these. That was by okay. So before I go into the mute challenge before the Duke of Sussex time, New York City, can someone tell me why BP yanked back their so-called bullying investigation against Meghan? What was the BS excuse for them not releasing this so-called arsenal of damaging material? Let's see here. Thank you for confirming my theory. I wasn't really paying attention to anything royal at that time. A lot of people were not, but the way the UK made things happen and screaming on top of the world caught people's attention and said, okay, what are you screaming about? And made people look deeper and deeper. And when we come to find out, is how crazy the UK is. And so this is all a fresh batch of information for me. If you can show your cards, then walk away, because what the Sussexes have contained more meat. Okay, I mean, for once, I agree with the press. Release the bullying investigation, because are they talking about that now? Is that why they're talking about it again? I mean, for once, I agree with the press. Release the bullying investigation, because we all know Meghan wasn't the bully. If she was, all those details would have been leaked 3 years ago when the allegation was first made. Okay, sorry, it's New York Post. Ah, so they're the one who's bringing this stuff. These are old stories. These are old stories. Oh my goodness. I'm not gonna click on that, and I'm not gonna share it. Sorry, it's New York Post, but it actually has first-hand quotes from Samantha Cohen, who famously said, quote, working for Harry and Meghan was like working for a pair of teenagers. Are they sure? Okay, we could compare. Okay, when Meghan was over there, things that she worked on, how successful it has become. And I'm also aware that one of UK historians have said many of the UKs, they work from 9 to 12.
Yeah, I think there's another factor here too, that Meghan is a very professional woman, and she's very American in that way. And the male-dominated culture, the royal household, doesn't like the kind of terms that they would use there, pushy American. They don't like pushy Americans, meaning that they don't like professional people who work hard. And a lot of the Debbie kind of girls who get to work inside the palace work from about 9 to 12 and then take the rest of the day off. And Meghan was very impatient with that. She wanted to see a new work ethic, maybe a work ethic as strong as the Queen's herself.
And after that, I don't know what they do after that. So which means Meghan was probably asking them to produce things during their work hours in order to have a finished product. And then now let's compare to Meghan's work once she left the UK and she's in the US. All the things that she has worked for that short period of time since she left the UK. We could see there has to be productive people behind it, behind the scene, to make things happen. I hope they release the bullying investigation. That's all I have to say. Wonder if in love was part of the quote that was deliberately left out. Okay, I don't know. I'm not gonna read that. Okay, this article is so sad and pathetic. Where is the so-called bullying? Also, to dig up this woman who has left behind is scolding tea. No wonder this got little attention. Also, look at the date. Missington was all over the news. Okay, so I don't know. So they're using backstories again to cover for the other one. What is that? The same woman that was letting racism slide, the same woman that lied about the staffers and that story on why they weren't there on the whole tour, the same woman, from the looks of it, was trying to set the Duchess up and was looking for evidence they didn't have. Ex-Harry and Meghan's aide Samantha the Panther Cohen says palace staff struggled to find her successor as private secretary and will be replaced to create while being shown the ropes on tour to Africa. I sort of remember some stuff about that. You could pause and read this. These people love to make noise. When was that? This is Royal Soda back in 2019. I don't think I was too deep into what's going on here back in 2019. Maybe I was just starting. I noticed the incoming private secretary, Fiona McElwan, isn't listed as part of the entourage. I thought she was coming on the tour as part of the transition with Sam Cohen. Any updates on that? At Scobie? Wow. Okay, more details. Coverage of their tour entourage. It's actually 13 people, so more than Oceania. Shallow, but I was most excited to see George Northwood is back as hairstylist. Meghan's hair will once again be flawless. Okay, bookmark. A quick who's who on Team Sussex based on the tour entourage. Samantha Cohen, interim press secretary. Fiona McElwan, incoming press secretary. Sarah Latham, head of communication. Heather Wong, deputy press secretary. So she created a thread about that. Okay, for the first 3 days, yes. Thanks, Omid. So Omid responded. So that was back in 2019. Okay, the documentary had also shown not only Meghan, evident pain, but also how far Harry and William have drifted apart. The idea that she wanted to be rejected is challenged by her lawyer's shillings. Instead, they say she had a clear desire to fit in. She left her country, career, and life in North America to commit herself fully to her new role and made every effort to honor that commitment. I agree with that. Yeah, can you imagine someone who left her work, a very lucrative work, okay? Suit. Move her stuff to the UK. This, I could never forgive these people. They actually owe her for doing all of that. And then she had to move her stuff back again. Okay, if the danger sign were there from the beginning, so were the warnings. The Sussex's private secretary, Sam Cohen, told 2 key courtiers, the private secretaries to both Prince Charles and the Queen, that if it all went wrong with Harry and Meghan, the palace needed evidence of the duty of care the institution had shown them. What in the name? The duty of care was crucial. Sam was a broken record with them on that, said a source. By the time Meghan gave her interview to Oprah Winfrey, however, the palace has lost the argument over duty of care. Very interesting. I would love to read, but that's a very good receipt. Both of them, the screenshot. Okay, let me bookmark this. This is something, well, I don't know if I'll ever come back to it, because right now we want to focus on Harry, who's in New York, regarding the UN. The funny part is people like Dan and Tom Bauer calling for the result to come out, like the idiots they are, like, yes, please release the result. Because, I mean, who knows? Maybe they told them what it is, the same nonsense they're repeating on their platform. Maybe they did tell them that. So, yeah, they probably believe them and say, we want to see the result, thinking that it's a negative part for Harry and Meghan. Because it paints Meghan in such horrible light. Unlike Meghan and Harry, they don't trash family members. But, let me leave that alone. To protect William. I think that's what it is, to protect William. When they found out Meghan is innocent and William and Charles guilty, they bury it. While leaving suspicion Meghan is guilty. That's exactly that. The wrongs in the royal family will be made right in the end. Maybe not soon enough for the victims. Diana is dead, but to their loved ones. Okay, it was buried because it didn't give them what they wanted. That's exactly that. Okay, there's that here. You could pause and read that. Okay, too much reading now. So I'm done with that, and I believe I have a prayer. And it's the same prayer that I had for my last video. What did I do? Alright. Prayer for has Meghan, Archie, Lily, and Miss Doria. The Lord bless and keep you, Harry, Meghan, Archie, Lilibet, Diana, and Miss Doria. The Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. May the Lord bless the work of your hands and make you succeed. Prosper beyond your imagination. In Jesus' name, amen. Right, the Lord says to my Lord, sit at my right hand until I make your enemies a footstool for your feet. The Lord will extend your mighty scepter from Zion. You will rule in the midst of your enemy. Psalm 110, 1 through 2. Alright, and this is the image of Harry and Meghan. That's it. This part, there's gonna be two parts. The first two tweets will be on Happy Team Sussex. The second part will be on PYTE, which focuses on Harry and Meghan and the Netflix things. Okay, so that's it. Please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share. If you want to support this channel, there's a PayPal link and a Cash App link in the description. You could donate. Those who have donated, thank you. Alright, so that is it. And tune in to our Port of Pure service, because I will have some stuff regarding Harry in New York, regarding the Clinton Global Initiative Summit. Okay, and some stuff regarding UN. Alright, so that's it. Thank you for watching.